Hello everyone, this is going to be a follow-up video of the video I made where we used the wizard to set up a Bitzer CR2 lead compressor. So in this video I'm going to show you how to assign the inputs and outputs. So as a reference, this is our alarm button, program or menu button, escape or back button, up, enter and down. So let's go into the menu and the controller is going to ask you for a password. And I would like you to use the manufacturer's password, which is 1234. And this will give us access to all the parameters needed for the setup. So 1234 and enter. In the main menus, let's go down to main menu B, inputs and outputs, and enter. This is a sub menu. We've got status, manual management or test. But because we're still setting up the controller, I would like you to go into status. So A, enter. Then we have the four sub-menus: digital inputs, analog inputs, digital outputs, and analog outputs. So I always like to start at the top. So let's start with the digital inputs. But remember, when we are configuring a PRAC controller, we need a wiring diagram or some sort of notes. So I compiled a note for us. It's going to be a low temp suction running at minus 30 degrees Celsius. 4 compressors, with number 1 being a Bitzer CR2 compressor with all 3 heads unloadable. And remember, the SSR outputs on the PRAC controller are outputs number 7, 8, 12, 13, 14 and 15. And also they are 24 volt AC or 24 volt DC only. You can't connect 220 volts to them. 24 volts only. 4 on-off fans, 1 alarm per compressor, 1 low liquid level alarm, 1 series alarm output for a siren, 1 suction pressure probe 4 to 20 milliamp 0 to 10 bar range, 1 suction temperature probe. That's going to be used for our system SUPI, and it's going to be a Corel NTC. 1 condensing pressure probe 4 to 20 milliamp 0 to 30 bar range. 1 discharge probe per compressor, and that's going to be Corel HT NTCs, and 1 ambient probe. So going back to our digital inputs, let's enter. Common low pressure stat. Do you have a system LP switch? If you have one, you're going to assign it. And also, is it normally open and normally closed? So as per my notes, we don't have one, so we're just going to go down. Common high pressure stat. So do you have a global HP? If you do, you're going to assign it, and the logic for it is going to be either normally open or normally closed. So if you have it, assign it. I don't, so let's go down. Common series alarm. Yes, remember as per my notes I said we have a common series alarm. So I'm going to assign it to, not to the use, that's universal inputs. I'm going to assign it to ID 18. This is going to be my last relay on the PRAC board, and this is a large PRAC board. It's going to be a normally closed, and as you can see the function is not active, which means this alarm is currently not active. If we do have a alarm currently on the a series alarm on the PRAC, and you go to this page, you will see it will say active, and that relay will be either open or closed depending on your logic. So let's go down. Alarm 1, compressor 1. So remember, yes, we do have one because the note said 1 alarm per compressor, and I'm going to assign them. Compressor 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2, 3 and 4 and so forth. It's going to be normally closed. So let's go down to compressor number 2, alarm 1 for compressor 2, and we're going to make it a 2 and enter. It's going to be normally closed logic. It's perfect. Enter and go down. Alarm 1 for compressor 3. Let's assign it to number 3. It's going to be a normal closed as well. Let's go down to compressor number 4. Make that a 4. Normally closed. Perfect. Let's go down. Do you have a common oil alarm? If you do, assign it. A liquid level alarm. Yes, we do have one. So I'm going to assign it to U5 or input 5. Normally closed. If we go down, fans common overload. Do you have one? If you do, assign it. Heat reclaim. Do you have it? If you do, assign. We've got generic function F, G, H, I, and J. So those are all your generic functions. If you are using a generic function, you have the option for a digital input for that generic function. Do we have a unit on-off status? If you do, you got the ability to assign it. A PRAC working status. And then we're back at the beginning, common low pressure state. So now I've assigned all my digital inputs. So we're going to escape from this menu and go to analog inputs and enter. Suction pressure probe. Yes, we do have one. I'm going to assign it to U1. Yes, it's a 4 to 20 milliamp. But remember, my note said it's a 0 to 10 bar. So let's change the range to 0 to 10. So there's my upper value of 10, and my lower value, we're going to make it 0. Perfect. And we don't have a calibration. Perfect. If we go down, suction temperature, do we have one? Yes, we do. I'm going to assign it to U2, and it's a normal NTC as per the notes. Perfect. Let's go down. Condenser pressure probe. Yes, we do have one. I'll make it U3 for this exercise. 4 to 20 milliamp. Perfect. Upper value 30 bar and lower value 0 bar. Yes, that's perfect. Discharge temperature, but this is discharge temperature for the whole rack, so no, because remember we have one per compressor, so we're not going to assign this one. Do you have liquid temperature? Yes, if you do, you can assign it. External temperature. Yes, we do have external. I'm going to make it U4, and it's a normal Corel NTC with 0 calibration. Perfect. Let's go down. Do you have a room temperature? No, we don't. Discharge pressure. Comp 1 discharge temperature. Yes, we do. So let's assign it. And it's going to be HTNTC. So here's your options. You have an option for PT1000, a 0 to 10 volt, 4 to 20 milliamp, 0 to 5 volt, HTNTC. Perfect. And there's 0 calibration. If we go down, compressor 2 discharge. I'm going to assign it to U6 and go and look for my HTNTC. Perfect. 0 calibration. Let's go down to compressor number 3. I'm going to assign it to U7. Go and look for my HTNTC again. Perfect. Enter and go down. And then the last compressor, U8. HTNTC. Perfect. 0 calibration. Let's go down. Do you have a compressor 1 oil temperature? No, we don't, so we skip it. Compressor 2 oil? No. Compressor 3 oil? No. Compressor 4 oil? No. And then we're back at the beginning. So perfect. Now we've assigned all the analog inputs. So I'm going to escape from this menu and go to digital outputs. Perfect. Compressor 1, it's going to be DO1 for me. And it's going to be a normally open. If we go down, compressor 1 unloader 1. So we can't use number 2 because it's not an SSR output. So remember the notes that said 7, 8, 12 to 15. So we need to choose one of those outputs when we assign the unloaders. So I'm going to make this number 7. Perfect. I'm going to leave the logic as normally closed. And you can see the output's not active. If we go down, compressor 1 unloaded 2, and this is going to make 8. Because that's a SSR output. I'm going to leave the logic as normally closed. If we go down, compressor 1 unloaded 3, and this I'm going to make, as per the notes, going to be number 12. Perfect. Normally closed. Okay, if we go down, compressor 1 fan cooling. Do you have a cooling fan for that compressor? If you do, you have to assign it. Mine don't, so I'm going to leave it as no and go down. Compressor 2. Let's make that number 2. It's going to be normally open. Go down. Compressor 3, I'm going to make 3. Normally open. Go down. And compressor 4, I'm going to make it 4. And normally open. Perfect. Fan 1. Now we have to assign fan 1. So let's assign fan 1 to DO5. It's going to be a normally open. And the function, as you can see, is not active. Remember, when the rack is running and you have outputs that's active, it will show you on this page that the controller has switched on that relay, so it will show active. If we go down to fan number 2, I'm going to assign it to number 6. It's going to be normally open. If we go down to number 3, I'm going to make that 9. So as you can see, it skipped those SSRs that are already assigned, and it gives me number 9 as the following open digital output. So I'm going to put it on 9, which is a normal relay, and the logic is normally open. And then number 4, I'm going to make it 10. Perfect. Normally open logic, enter and down. Do you have a global alarm output? If you do, assign it. A live signal, a BMS forced output, a normal alarm, and a serious alarm. So remember, in the notes I said we've got one serious alarm output for a siren. So I'm going to assign it, and I'm going to make it on the latter stage of my outputs, so number 18. Perfect. And a normally closed. And then we're back at the beginning. Awesome. Let's escape from this menu and let's go to analog outputs and enter. But as you can see, I'm not able to enter the analog outputs menu. And the reason for this is we haven't assigned a analog output. In the wizard, we said it's normal on-off fans and CR2 compressor and on-off compressors. So there's no 0 to 10 volt assigned on this PRAC controller, and that's why you are not able to enter the analog outputs menu. So that's me and how I assign the digital inputs and outputs for a Bitzer CR2 compressor and also just for a normal rack. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.